The Mueller Report, one of its conclusions was that Russia tried to seriously influence the 2016 election. Should the Obama administration done more?
Yeah, sure. Of course, the Russians interfered. It happened in the run-up to the election in 2016. Of course, they should have done everything they could to prevent it. I don't want to go back and revisit and critique. We have the mission now to make sure this doesn't happen in 2020. We've been working diligently. I worked as the CIA director on the efforts to prevent not only Russian interference. This often gets because of the nature of this city. This gets reduced to this little tiny notion that it's just Russia and it's just election interference that proves the challenge. The threats are much broader. It's not just to our elections, it's to our infrastructure, it's to our telecommunications networks, it's to our financial systems. We have a duty to protect that, but not just from the Russians either. The Chinese are active, the Iranians are active. We have non-state actors that are also active trying to undermine the very sense of Western democracy, not just here in the United States, but all around the world. We worked hard to protect elections all across Europe as they have taken place in 2017 and 18. We'll keep doing that as we move forward. So this problem, which often comes to a soundbite or a chyron or a headline in your newspaper, is a much deeper challenge and one that President Trump has directed us all to be incredibly focused on.
So is it fair to say that Russia is still a threat to American elections?
Sure, of course. But it goes without saying, they were a threat to our elections in 1974 too, right? And they interfered in our elections in the 80s. The fact that this town seems shocked by the fact that the Russians don't care for us, in that case the Soviet Union, I find stunning. I find stunning because this is reported, it's in books, you can see the Russian efforts over an extended period of time, and we should expect in 2050 the Russians will be added still.
Have you communicated or will you communicate to all the presidential campaigns of what they should do if they're contacted by a foreign entity?
Not my job. Right?
Whose job is that?
The FBI would have responsibility for that.
Okay.
The FBI will take the charge to make sure that we perform our counterintelligence function appropriately and properly.
Do you think, Rudy Giuliani said recently there's nothing wrong with taking foreign information in a presidential campaign. Do you agree with that?
I don't have anything to say about that. I'll let the White House and Mr. Giuliani speak for himself. We should, having said that, we should all be cognizant of the sources of the information we receive. We should be cognizant when we receive dossiers to make sure that they're right, that we have validated information before we report on it. We should always, every one of us has a responsibility to make sure that the information that we provide, the information we receive is truthful, accurate, and creates real value for wherever place we find ourselves, whether it's at the State Department or the work I did as the director of the Central Intelligence Agency. We each have a duty to do that.